Hey guys, it's producer Dave here, straight from the studio. I wanted to check in before this episode to let you know that this is a From the Vault episode. If you've not heard one of these before, this just basically means we didn't have time to record an episode, and so we dipped into our practice episodes. Yes, we practiced for this podcast. That's how professional we were. Now, if you were here for the last episode, you'll know we were supposed to be posting strictly ballroom this time, but since we didn't get to record, I dipped into the vault to find we had a very strictly ballroom adjacent movie in the form of Muriel's Wedding. This was a Marion pick in the early days, and boy, is it early days. My mic quality is going to be horrible. I'm going to be doing like sort of a podcaster voice in the early going. It's very bad. I left everything in, all the warts. There, you'll hear us, talking about the audio issues and can we save this and do we start the episode over? It's fun. It's funny. Just enjoy it. The actual episode itself, I think, is great. It's an early look at our chemistry as we develop it, and I think it was a lot of fun. So check it out, Muriel's Wedding. Hello, this is David Owen.
And this is Marion Cowagowan.
And this is You Show Me Yours, a podcast where a married couple talks about the movies and television shows that they experienced before the first date. And this week, I was made to watch Muriel's Wedding.
And if you do not know Muriel's Wedding, all I really need to say is Australian film in the 90s, because this was part of a pack of Australian films that sort of broke in the US. But this one is written and directed by P.J. Hogan, who later went on to direct My Best Friend's Wedding and apparently a big screen version of Peter Pan. And it was one of Toni Collette's first roles in the US, and Rachel Griffiths as well. And Bill Hunter, who, if you've seen the other great Australian film, Strictly Ballroom, you know him as Barry Fife. And here he is a just as not nice person. So I can't remember when I first saw this. I want to say maybe the early 2000s. I don't know why I didn't see it in the theater, because it's very much up my alley. But I've seen it several times. Had you seen it at all?
No.
Okay.
No.
Did you know it existed?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
What did you think about it before, and what do you think about it now?
I don't know. I don't know what I thought about it before. What I think about it now is it's a lot. There's a lot going on.
It is kind of a lot. There were several sections. You had to go through a lot to get to the main dramatic section.
Yeah, there's a lot of setup. There's a lot going on.
Yes.
There's a lot of characters. Almost all but one of which are two of which have almost no redeeming qualities.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of nasty people in it.
Yes, everybody is a caricature, and it's very Australian.
Yes.
It's very 90s, because we watched Strictly Ballroom in my psychology class in high school for some reason.
Did you? Okay, we're going to talk about that later, because I don't know why, but we did. And it's very much in that vein. So yeah. I don't really know what to say about the movie. It's just a lot. It's a lot of stuff. So does it surprise you that I would describe this movie as very much up my alley?
No. No, I mean, this seems like a movie that a young woman in the 90s would have watched.
Yes, very much.
Like yourself. You were a young woman in the 90s.
I was. I am no longer. But yes. So yeah, I am a sucker for an ugly duckling story. A misfit learns to love herself. Misfit finds friends. Misfit leaves her hometown. Like all of these things. Catnip to me. So
yeah, it's got all that.
It does.
Yeah, and there's everything's over the top. Everybody is, like I said, is a character, but everybody is just. It's like there was the outline of this. Each of these characters had maybe 2 lines written to say what their personality was. And yeah, it's all over. It's all over.
You know who they are within the first 5 minutes of screen time. Okay, so let's run them down. So Muriel's father, terrible person.
Yes.
Muriel's, quote, friends, all terrible people, all four of them.
Established that right away in the first
yes.
2 minutes of the movie.
Yes. Can I say, first of all, the bride is a terrible person because those bridesmaids dresses at the beginning were fug.
Right.
But it was the 90s, so sure. But yeah.
Yeah. They were quite, they were something.
It was, yeah. And Tanya, the bride, is just the type of person who would put her friends in ugly dresses so she, as the bride, looks better.
Yeah.
You can tell that's the thing.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So to set the scene, so the movie opens at the wedding of one of Muriel's, quote, friends. And there are the three other friends are bridesmaids. Muriel is not. This is not a coincidence. Not an accident. It was meant to send a message. And Muriel, God bless her, did not get the message because she's a little clueless.
Yes.
You just, so many times in the movie you want to say, oh, honey. Oh, no. Come here. Let me give you a hug. And I will explain to you how the world works because it's not the way that you think it is. So, and there's this back and forth over she catches the bouquet and she wasn't meant to catch the bouquet and blah, blah, blah. And I am so glad that no one expects me to catch a bouquet anymore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like you're long past your prime at bouquet catching. I am.
Even if you disappeared tomorrow, no one expects a 43-year-old to catch the bouquet.
Exactly. So yeah, no, it's right off the bat, it sets its tone of just being this basically cartoonish depiction of bad people, horrible people, and they are horrible people. But yeah, she totally gets berated for catching the bouquet because it's someone else's turn, because someone else should be next. But then the person who's next also just broke up with her boyfriend that dated for 6 weeks she's supposed to marry. So it's just,
But you know what though? I have no doubt that in some friend groups that is a thing. Like, let so-and-so catch the bouquet because it's her turn. And how dare you catch it? How dare you be in the space where the bride threw the bouquet? Like, I guarantee that's a thing in some friend groups.
Yeah,
so.
You should have not put your hands up, right? Like you should have not tried to catch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much this movie. Like, everybody is just
awful.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've said that a couple times, but everybody
can't be said too many times, really.
It's just the sort of like straight to the point writing that is, how quickly can I get across exactly who this person is? And it's usually just something quick and usually horrible.
Yeah.
And
the line for the rest of Muriel's family that did that was when she comes home and some dialogue happens and her father barks to one of the kids, have mom get me a cup of tea. Not, hey, wife of mine, could you make me some tea? But just have mom get me a cup of tea. And the daughter, who is, I don't know, 10, 11, she's young, barks, mom, make dad a cup of tea. And I was just like, wow, you are all awful. And you've learned to be awful from him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're doing what you've learned.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%. No,
and the mother, oh God, can we just light a candle for poor, I won't say saintly.
Yeah.
But poor mother, who also not very smart.
Yeah. Her mother is probably one of the characters I would put on the not horrible person list. Her biggest fault is that she doesn't stick up for herself, that she's just a doormat and everybody runs on top of her. And and it is very, very comical.
Yeah.
And that actually brings me to something else. What is this movie supposed to be? What is the one word genre for this movie? The one label.
I believe it's supposed to be a comedy. Would you say it's not?
It's in places. It's a comedy, right? Like, it starts out as this absurd comedy. There's with a little bit of obviously Australian, but with a little bit of British sort of absurd humor, and then it goes all over the place. And even the main character is very quickly established as sometimes funny, sometimes sad, like her exploits. So and then later on the movie just really it goes place. Whoa, I just got a lot louder.
You did.
That's weird.
It's a strongly held opinion. You.
I know
so
it was
louder.
like you need to say that louder. And I was worried about my. I'm doing that so that we can cut this part out if we want to. Because my mic has sounded weird the whole time.
Okay.
And now it's somehow back to normal.
Yeah.
And I don't know how. And I'm getting clipping and something was going on there.
Okay. Well, you're louder now. So
yeah. Okay. Well, from here on out, I'll be fine. But that whole first half, I don't remember where we were.
I don't either.
So genre wise, I don't know where this movie is. It's a roller coaster.
It's a little bit. Yeah. And there's a lot of the plot is very, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then yeah. Well, and you can sort of tell because it's divided into 3 acts anyway. And each of the acts has some sub acts, and the plot is a lot.
Yes.
Which perhaps is why it works with all these characters being caricatures, because we don't have time for complicated characters development. We need these people to be recognized as jerks right off, and we can get to the storyline.
And there's a ton of characters, so you've got to introduce them. But I mean, as opposed to staying on too early, the early part of the movie too long. Basically, we are quickly introduced to Muriel and her horrible friends, and then immediately she is arrested for shoplifting, which at first you're like, we don't know if she did it or not. She definitely did it.
Yeah.
Because she is a pathological liar. Yeah,
it's never explicitly said, but like you can tell.
100% she did it.
She did.
Because what you quickly learn about her is she's a pathological liar. She just lies. I mean, she's like, I get the point that's being made that she's lying to create a sort of a fantasy version of herself that is better than her. And that's kind of the crux of the whole conflict of the movie for the first 2/3 or whatever. She is constructing a different life for herself based completely on lies. And that's the sort of ultimate, she's not a narrator, but the unreliable narrator type thing of like, you never know in the early part whether she's telling the truth or not. And then she starts to tell lies that the movie has already demonstrated
that we know
untrue.
Are lies.
Yeah, and so at that point you realize like, okay, nothing she says, like she's got a fiance, but she doesn't.
She doesn't.
And it's all very interesting because who are you rooting for in this movie if you're looking for a good character? I mean, I know you're supposed to root for her to find herself or whatever, but for a long time in the movie, she's pretty crappy, and pretty much everybody is. They do the mom extremely dirty because she doesn't even get a good character redemption arc. Yeah. In the movie, then Muriel is, it all works out in the end, which we can talk about. And then the friend, what is it, Rhonda?
Yeah.
Who kind of
played by Rachel Griffith.
Yes, who you've seen in a lot of things. I think she was in 6 Feet Under.
Yes.
She's one of the other ones that I would say is kind of redeeming. Like she just is what she is. Like she's not lying about what she is. She's just a partier and free spirit, and that's it. It's just like, okay, sure. But yeah, I mean, it's I just like this movie, I lost track of where I was going.
I feel like we should have given you some time to have your thoughts gel on this, because it's a lot to keep straight in terms of characters and plot and
yes. So yeah, just one question, and I don't know if this is. I suppose we could have looked in the credits for this. The guy who owns the Chinese restaurant, in the early part of the movie, is his name actually Charlie Chan, or is he just calling him Charlie Chan?
To be a bigot.
To enforce that his character's a bigot.
That is a good question. Let me see. I don't see him in the credits.
While you're at it, silence your phone.
Yes.
Because you are. This is the reason that we're not live on the big stage yet.
He's not in there. Well, let's see. Let's pull up IMDb.
Where is Do Not Disturb on my phone? There it is. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, shorthand for, I mean, because that would be an easy shorthand for this guy is a racist.
Yeah.
But her dad is this, like whatever councilman or whatever, and he's got his hand in everything, and he's not made it to his full potential because of his family, or he says because of his family, because they're not, his kids are useless and his wife is plain and doesn't keep a good house or whatever, and so it's just you're quickly introduced to him, and it's just it feels like that is just short. Him calling him Charlie Chan just feels like it's shorthand for
he's a jerk. So that character is listed in the credits as just Chinese maitre d'.
Okay.
So it is up to your own interpretation.
Sure.
But I'm gonna
I
assume
lost my mic again.
It's the guy being a bigot because
yes.
Yeah. He's that kind of guy.
Hello.
None of this is going well.
Yeah, this is not a marquee episode.
No.
Well, and I don't know if I'm losing. I don't know if I'm losing actuals. See that I got that. That's going to be good. Okay, so now it's back.
Should we start over?
We can't start over. The best we could do is hope to edit the stuff out that's bad.
Okay.
Because you can't, this is a spontaneous discussion.
Okay.
And it will feel complete. And I also don't know if my mic is going to do that again.
Okay.
So that's the problem. There's no amount of, I can't be certain, and I don't know why. I guess I will try to replace these XLR cables.
Okay.
We can start over if you want, but we have to keep it shorter.
There's a reason we call these throwaways. So
yes. So I think we should continue. And if we, once upon a time, but sometime in the future, if we want to salvage this, then it'll be get that back on the, it'll be excuse the, straighten. There you go. Excuse this poor audio quality.
Right.
And
Right.
Okay. So, some of the big plot points in the movie, Muriel,
so she invites herself on. Okay, we got to back up.
First, she steals $12,000 from her family because her mom writes her a blank check to cash, because her dad told her to, so that she could buy cosmetic supplies, so that she could get a job with the dad's mistress selling cosmetics.
And it's just as confusing as that sounds.
Yeah.
So,
but instead, she writes a check for cash for $12,000 and uses that to go on a $3,000 vacation with all of her shitty friends who disinvited her.
Right.
From being friends anymore.
Right. They've told her she's embarrassing. She's not cool. She doesn't listen to, who was it that they were talking about?
They said somebody in Nirvana.
Nirvana. That's
she listens to ABBA almost exclusively.
Yeah.
And
coming to the 90s, Muriel. That was a terrible accent.
You don't do that. Don't do that again. So everybody has Australian accents,
Yes.
And you forget that Tawny Collette it's not Catan, right? That's the other.
That's totally different.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You forget that she's Australian because she never does anything with her real accent. Hereditary, Knives Out, all of her recent roles
that we see. Yeah.
Well, of course. Yeah. So she may be doing something in Australia. I don't know.
We just haven't seen it.
All of her Hollywood roles, she never has an accent.
Yeah.
It's like Gary Oldman these days. You wouldn't know Commissioner Gordon and all these, you wouldn't know he is British.
Yeah. You kind of wonder how they talk in their normal lives. Have they done American accents so much that they've lost their original one?
Interesting story. Gary Oldman did literally forget his original accent and had to relearn a British accent. It's apparently because he was doing so many different characters that he actually misplaced his original accent.
I sort of believe it, because I've seen him in way more things where he has an American accent than a British accent. Oh, yeah. But
so anyway, she's on this stolen vacation. She meets Rhonda, who is a woman who went to school with them, but also was picked on by the friend group that has now turned on Muriel, and that's where the movie kind of starts.
That's when we get going. Yeah, we've set some things in place, and now
we're 25 minutes in,
cooking with gas,
and now we're into the plot.
Yeah. So Muriel and Rhonda become good friends, and they do something at the talent show night where they sing Waterloo
for some reason.
Costume.
Talent show.
Well, and I noticed that for all of for as much as the Shitty Friends are bagging on ABBA, they're doing an ABBA song before all this. So, but they're hypocrites. So,
right.
unsurprising, whatever.
Reinforcing.
So, Muriel and Rhonda do this ABBA talent show and win and have fun. And then Muriel has to go home and face the music.
Right. And so she doesn't. She just leaves and goes to Sydney to live with Rhonda.
Yes.
And all the while, she has told Rhonda that she has a fiance, and now she has to, lie that she's left this fiance and he was a cop and he's after her or something.
And that's why she's going to change her name from Muriel to Mariel.
Yes. And
by the way, I got to stick up for girls with unfortunate names who want to change them, because I would have changed my name at a moment's notice all through high school and even my 20s, and I've made my peace with it. But don't give your daughters interesting names. They will not thank you for it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so Muriel/Mariel has a job and Rhonda has a job and they have an apartment and they go out, and apparently they seem to have dates. Or something.
We know she goes on one date with a guy one time.
Yes.
And for some reason, he's then later at her wedding.
Who is adorably dorky.
Sure. Yeah, he's
so,
one of the other wholesome characters.
I need a sequel where I see them hooking up, because he's just so cute and sweet and
he's total dork.
Bad at making out.
Yes.
And,
yes. And and he they have one date, and then, like I said, he for some reason is invited to her wedding. Later in the movie, because spoilers, Muriel's wedding actually features a wedding, but it's Mariel's wedding, not Muriel's wedding. So at this point, we're like halfway through this movie.
Yeah,
we're not even. So then she develops this obsession with going to bridal shops and pretending to be a bride. Oh, also wait, before that, Rhonda gets cancer. And it's some kind of spinal cancer, and she's having a three-way with a couple of American sailors, and her legs stop working. And,
unrelated to the sex, just coincidental.
No. Although she does ask the doctor if the tumor came from too much sex, which was funny.
Yeah. So Australia may have socialized medicine, but maybe not good health education. But
perhaps.
Anyway.
Yeah. So and then, like, are you keeping track of this? Are you keeping score here?
It's a lot.
At this point in this comedy movie, the best friend who has kind of saved her from her plain life and brought her to the big city now has cancer. And meanwhile, she uses the fact that her friend has cancer as sort of an inspiration to lie to bridal shops to get them to let her try on dresses and take Polaroids of them. For those of you listening who don't know what a Polaroid is. No, I'm kidding. Even kids know what a Polaroid is, because they
trendy.
Still exist.
It's retro.
In some form.
Yeah.
And it's just... everybody is, well, certainly in her family, but pretty much everybody surrounding her, except for Rhonda, a lot of issues.
Yeah.
A lot of issues. And Rhonda's issue is a physical issue. Everybody else has all these mental issues, and the one person who's mentally clear ends up with physical issues.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's just, and she's then, and there's Rhonda finds out. And then there's an emotional scene where, you're getting the idea that she's doing all this because she thinks that the end game for her is to get married. If someone wants to marry her, she has value.
Yeah.
If she gets married, then she wins, so to speak.
There's an earlier scene where she's talking to her mother and she says, "Mom, I'm going to get married and I'm going to be a success." And I desperately wanted the mother to say, those are separate things.
Right.
One does not mean the other, but the mother did not, because she is spineless. God bless her.
Or something.
But So Muriel thinks, as many awkward young women do, that if someone loves me, then I have value. And until they do love me, I don't have value, which is heartbreaking to watch.
Right. Yeah. No. It's like, again, it's a comedy movie. We're primarily a comedy movie.
It's funny. Remember, it's funny. It's funny.
Emotional
Laugh.
trauma is hilarious. Having been turned into something crazy by your parents is hilarious.
Yeah. So meanwhile, back in Muriel's hometown of Porpoise Spit.
Porpoise Spit.
So I I would think that her father had financial problems long before any of the events of the film.
Right.
But we are told that because she stole some of her father's money, he had to take bribes from various people. He's some kind of developer, schmoozer. It's really
he's on
unclear.
the city, the council or whatever, which he then sort of parlays into getting green lighting, getting projects like through the red tape, or as he points out about Charlie Chan's brother, I got him in from China.
Yeah,
I got him through immigration.
It's not entirely clear. I imagine there's a lot of things in this person's life that are not entirely clear.
Yeah,
you don't want to know all the details. But so apparently, because she stole the money, he had to take bribes, and now he's under investigation by some government people, and he's in trouble. And anyway, the family tells Muriel, "You need to come back and pay back the money and help us get out of this mess," which I still believe is mostly of the father's own making because he's terrible.
Yeah.
So Muriel is faced with their family wants her to come back to Porpoise Spit, which she doesn't want to do. And she wants to stay with Rhonda, but that's not really the fun thing anymore. And she is poking through a singles magazine, which, wow, that predates me even.
Well, now you forgot that Rhonda's cancer came back, and now she's not going to walk forever.
Like ever. This is not a temporary thing.
Right. And Muriel makes a promise that she will take care of her and not let her go back to Porpoise Spit, because, of course, they're both from there because they went to high school together. Of course, remember that fact. And she will stay, and she will take care of her because she's her friend. She has this heartfelt Muriel has this heartfelt admission of to Rhonda of how she changed her life and what she was before and what she is now.
And then 30 minutes later,
or even not even like 5 minutes later. Yes, as you were saying. Sorry, I just wanted to set the stage.
She is flipping through a singles magazine, personals magazine, I guess.
Yeah,
and there's an ad for, I forget how it's phrased, but basically a guy wants a wife.
Yeah, I'm looking for a wife. I need a wife.
Quickly.
Yeah.
And it is an Olympic level swimmer who for some reason can't swim for his native South Africa. Or maybe South Africa can't have an Olympic team that year. I don't know. I feel like there was some political references that were lost.
Yeah, it's 93, 94. So there's something going on. Is this is the apartheid breaking down? Something about some guys, somebody shot somebody. Things are going over.
I don't know.
Yeah. So for some reason, he's world-class swimmer, can't swim for his...
So he's trying to get Australian citizenship. And so he needs to marry an Australian citizen. And Muriel goes to meet him at his training pool, and she is grinning like a fool, like he is God's gift to women. And I don't know why, because the entire time he has this look on his face like he is smelling something awful.
Yeah.
And the minute he sees her, so it's not even like it's a reaction to her. I fail to see the appeal.
I think you're supposed to get that the character is uncomfortable with this whole process. His coach is basically spearheading this because this coach wants him to swim for Australia, and he knows he needs him.
Yeah,
he needs him to get a green card or whatever so he can swim for Australia. Yeah, and totally arranged marriage, just marriage of convenience. That does not faze her one bit, because she doesn't care. And this is where you get like where the characters, I guess, from a story point is hitting rock bottom. She doesn't care about any of the things surrounding getting married. She literally just thinks the act of getting married will completely fix her life.
Yes. Which, she's not the only one.
Sure.
There's a lot of people.
How'd that work out for you?
Pretty well.
Yeah.
Pretty well. Yeah.
So they agree to do it, and they pay her $10,000, and they have to live together afterwards. And this movie is an hour and 45 minutes. Just in case
that all?
In case you're right. In case anyone's wondering, is an hour and 45 minutes. And so then, because this guy is a famous swimmer, I guess somehow she is now famous as they're leading up to the marriage. And then she's on like bridal magazine covers or whatever. I don't know. And then they get married, and the guy is, slack jawed the whole time.
Yeah.
of like, oh, and clearly doesn't want to do it.
No. Well, and I just, did no one ever pull this guy aside and be like, get it together? He can't even fake it.
Right.
Like, it's, you may kiss the bride and he kisses her on the cheek. Like, what? Come on,
and
dude.
let's so again, let's recap the drama here. So now her crappy friends from the beginning of the movie are her bridesmaids for this, and her true friend Rhonda, who she's abandoning to marry this guy because she has to live with him for 4 months minimum, apparently, is not in, she apparently was asked, but is not in the wedding. So her crappy friends are back because they came crawling back. And again, you're seeing like, this is sort of the checklist of things that she wanted. Like, she wanted to get married and become famous and show everybody that she had value.
And be beloved and have, And
it's all coming true for her. And and then more stuff happens. Even more stuff happens.
And then, so this whole time, the father has a mistress, which is conveyed rather subtly, but you get it. And the father is living in a hotel because he says he finds his family too stressful. So he's de facto left the mother and shows up at Muriel's wedding with the mistress. The mother has to take a bus.
Right.
And arrives late and is sitting in the back, and Muriel doesn't even acknowledge her mother, which, I'm sorry, what?
Well, I think so. I think, to me, the filmmaking there was to show that she didn't notice that, because they very clearly have, it's not like she looks at her mom.
Well,
if I wanted to convey that I'm ignoring someone, I would make the character see that person and then not engage. But instead, it's very clearly shown that she's not looking in the direction of where her mom is sitting.
Sure, because
when it happens,
she's got her rictus grin on and is looking at her weird-looking husband. Well, and you can see the mother's heart break into a million pieces. So, but the mother is soldiering on and doing her best, I guess, and she's back home and is in the store, and her shoes hurt, and she picks out a new pair of shoes to wear in the store and forgets to pay for them. Like, I think she legit did forget to pay for them.
Yeah, I don't think she intended to steal them. Yeah,
no.
And then the same store detective lady who got Muriel arrested at the beginning of the movie sees this and gets her arrested.
The mother arrested. This store detective has a lot of time on her hands.
Yes.
She's also a terrible person.
Yes.
And the mother is taken to the police station, and the father is called, and he gets her out of charges, I guess.
Somehow, with whatever little sway he has left. Oh, which we didn't mention earlier, he also got Muriel out of it.
Yes.
By giving the cops that came to who are in charge of the case beer. I
saw that too. That's,
he knew one of them's dad, and he watched the kid play. When he was a kid, he played football, and so he's just 100% just a totally
a schmoozer, which I have to admire that, because I can't schmooze to save my life. But if only he could use his power for good and not evil.
Yeah, so you get the feeling that he's been doing that for his whole life, and you can see very clearly that one of the main reasons that his kids are so crappy is because of the fact that he's gotten them out of all this stuff, and he's gotten them jobs that they failed at, and it's that sort of thing where it's the kids are horrible, but it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because the parenting is horrible, and despite the fact that he thinks he's giving his kids everything they need by giving them secretary schools where they don't learn to type, and which is a running gag through like 2 or 3 scenes, and sending them to these different jobs that don't work out, and the kids just lays around the house and all this crap. Of course, that's not what they need. They need loving,
they need actual
parents
affection and discipline and stability, but they're not going to get those things. So anyway, so the father gets the mother out of jail and brings her home, and then officially packs his suitcase and says, "I'm leaving you," and
says not just "I'm leaving you," but "I'm leaving you because you are the anchor that has weighed me down my whole life. You and the kids.
You're an embarrassment." Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and my reaction to "I'm leaving you" was, again?
Right.
What?
I guess it wasn't official.
Okay, or maybe she didn't pick up on that. I don't know.
Well, because the whole time also the dad is, we said like he took bribes and he's indicted for for this fraudulent behavior the whole time. So
when he tells her, "I'm going to marry Deirdre,"
makeup lady.
Yeah. And you're terrible and the kids are terrible and you are all are awful. And then in a very rapid turn of events, he leaves and the mother is furious at her kids and the kids are furious right back at her. And in the next scene, she's dead.
Yes. That's, yeah.
And it officially is a heart attack, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it's what they put on the paperwork because again, you want to protect the dad, and it's always all about protecting him.
Yes,
and it's even literally framed, I think, by the dad, or someone that she made the ultimate sacrifice. Oh, by the mistress, but she made the ultimate sacrifice by taking her own life,
and at least her life had some value,
right? Because this now will give him. This will now give him sympathy, and no one will convict a grieving widower that has a family to take care of these charges that he. Again, nobody here is at this point. We're still waiting for Muriel to even have any kind of redemption because she hasn't had it yet. No. Like she had. Her arc was going up and then it just fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
So she comes home and is faced with all this and kind of just basically realizes that she's her father or some such, that she is just as self-centered and uncaring as he is. And it's all about him and his life.
And the lying has to stop.
Right. And it's all about her. She puts everything about her and she lies and all these things. And so now that's her redemption arc completed. She's now her mother's death is what finally makes her snap out of it. Again, the only character really in her life that isn't just a horrible person. And maybe these kids would have turned out a little bit better if she was horrible, but horrible in the way that sort of a strong mothering influence can be considered horrible sometimes, even when it's not.
Yes.
Now she's a good person.
Yeah. So
because her mom died and she realized the error of her ways.
She tells the swimmer, whose name is David, that after they do it. Yeah, right.
After he now basically falls for her.
Right.
That she can no longer be married to him because it's lying and she's done lying.
And then he's into it. But so she says she can't marry him. And I kind of thought, stick it out for the 4 months or whatever, like help him get the green card.
No, you don't understand, Marion. You got to stop the lying right now. If it doesn't stop right now, then it will never stop.
He seems fine. I don't know if he understands the ramifications of this, or maybe is he like, I didn't really like swimming anyway. I just wanted to quit. I started doing it because I look good in Speedo, but I really don't like. I
guess
I don't know.
Yeah, no, who knows what he is? His character development is paper thin. So who knows? He's there to serve a very specific purpose, and he serves it. And who cares? We don't know what happens to him. Not even just like a flash of like a newspaper where he's winning an Olympic, winning the gold
for Venezuela
or for Venezuela
or something.
Even for South Africa. I don't know.
He has very few lines because most of what he does is he just arranges his face in a way that looks like he's smelling something bad, and he just looks grossed out by Muriel. But so she leaves him and she tells her father, hey, guess what? You're going to have to be a father now. Suck it.
Yeah, he wants her to stay and basically become the mother.
Because Deirdre, the mistress, has no interest in him if she's going to have to raise children.
Right, yeah. So now his mistress is leaving him. Like, just everything's going horrible for him.
Yes.
But also when she tells him this, he's like, it's almost like a oh yeah, all right, I can respect that.
Finally caught up
you're
with
breaking
me.
Okay. Yeah, and he does even say that he's reaping what he sowed.
Yes.
And so I guess the dad kind of gets a redemption arc, and I don't know about any of the other characters, the sister and brother. I don't know. I guess So we don't really get any insight.
They're all pretty bad. I don't know.
So then this movie's still going on.
Right.
So then she goes to Rhonda, her friend who freed her from her life of misery,
who is now living with her mother,
who's now living with her mother in Porpoise Spit. She goes there and she's there. Rhonda is there with all of the all of the bad friends because I guess what other choice does she have but to be friends with the bad girls now?
They've decided to glom onto her.
Right, to accept her.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Muriel comes in and now she's Muriel again. She's not Mariel anymore. She comes in and she just basically says like, I'm changed. Let's go back to Sydney to Rhonda.
And Rhonda puts up a good fight of, you're not changed. Why would I want to go anywhere with you?
Yeah.
And Muriel's like, because you're my friend. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm your friend.
And Rhonda's like, yes, I am. Okay, let's go.
Let's go. And yeah, and they ride off in a taxi cab.
And they yell out the window, goodbye, Porpoise Spit. And the end.
The end.
The end. That was a long journey to get there.
Yes.
So you, I take it, did not really enjoy this movie.
It's fine. No, I didn't dislike it. I did not dislike it. It is just it's the kind of movie that you cannot make today. And I would say like this guy, director and writer, who directs this movie about a wedding and then My Best Friend's Wedding, also about a wedding. And it just, he apparently this is his genre. I guess later on he wrote the movie The Dressmaker, which is about a woman who comes back to her village and makes dresses.
Oh, I haven't seen that
so
one.
Very like this guy has it's either like a kink that he has, or he just has a very specific, or he just a specific skill set. And I don't know what it is, but you can see this is like 3 years apart. These are like 3 years apart, Muriel's wedding and My Best Friend's Wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And in that amount of time, he definitely learned how to make a Hollywood movie. But you could not make this movie today. Like you cannot make a movie like this. This is like an 8-part limited series on Netflix. This is these days. Yeah, you could not make this today because it's just so all over the place. I wouldn't mind seeing someone try to make this. Mm-hmm. But you can't make it because it's all over the place. It meanders all around.
Yeah. So I should point out 2 things. So My Best Friend's Wedding, he did not write. He just directed. Okay. So it may be that it's just his writing goes around and around and around and around in circles.
Perhaps.
And there has been a musical version of Muriel's Wedding.
Oh, Lord.
I imagine with a good ABBA soundtrack. And I saw something online that said they changed the ending and it was terrible. And I don't know what the change was.
Yeah, like
I imagine it's that she stays with the swimmer.
Sure.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, because I guess that's, if you were looking at this movie and trying to modernize it, that is the point where you would probably end the movie, where you would say like, you just leave all the other characters, whatever. She found love, instead of saying she's got to stop lying.
Yeah,
she's no longer lying because now he really loves her and she really loves him.
Right.
And it's not lying.
Now that he's seen her in grief, now he loves her because that works.
Right. Yeah. That was the thing that did it for him. Like, she has real human emotions. Yeah. I should love her.
It's not just a rictus grin. He's seen her. She's pretty when she cries.
Yeah. So yeah, I did not dislike this movie. Yeah. It has some funny parts. Again, like, this is not, if you sold this as a comedy, a lot of people would walk out disappointed. Yeah, but I don't know. Why did you pick this thing? Justify this to me.
Well, like I said, I am a sucker for an ugly duckling story, and Misfit gets out of her hometown and Misfit finds friendship and all these things. And so I have a soft spot for it. But now listening to you, I'm like, why do I like this at all?
Right. I mean, I have a lot of respect for these sort of, it's not really surreal, but these sort of over-the-top movies that have these over-the-top caricatures of characters. Like, that can be a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. But all of these people, instead of being fun over-the-top caricatures, they're depressingly, horrible over the top.
It is a little sad when and there have been a couple of other movies or TV shows that I've watched, and after a while you realize nobody in this is likable. These are all terrible people. And flawed is one thing, but just terrible people is quite another. And This is teetering on the edge of that. So I want to ask you something. I remembered this as Toni Collette being very pudgy.
Because she's fat.
Right.
Everybody says she's fat.
Because when you're fat, no one will love you.
That's right.
So, but on the one hand, I appreciate that it's not, oh, she lost weight. And then coincidentally,
right, everything.
Then people like her. Sure. It just happened that way. So I appreciate that it didn't do that. But looking at her, she's not really fat. I mean, she's not skinny. She's not like the bride who was like the size of my pinky. But she's not really fat. So I don't know.
You said you wanted to ask me something.
What did you think she was fat?
She fat?
I don't know.
No. She's thick.
Yeah.
She's curvy. If you want to say, like, yeah, she's like Beyonce sized. Like, yeah. Well, she has maybe a little bit more of a pooch, a little belly, but yeah, like she's just not. She's big through the hips.
I think she's bigger than any of the other characters that are her age.
Yeah. Yes, but
it's not. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know where I'm getting this idea from that she was supposed to be so fat in this. It may be tied up in my head with Circle of Friends, where Minnie Driver actually did, I think, gain weight for that role, and so I think she kind of carries that around, like, oh,
yeah, she's like
character.
She's like Bridget Jones fat,
yeah,
like she's
which
like
is to
a skinny actress put on 30
really,
pounds,
yeah,
20 pounds, yeah, she just looks like she just needs just to cut out one bad thing from her diet, and she would be normal, like. Reduce your calorie intake to 2,000.
Can we not say normal?
You'll be normal size. Hey, I'm a fat person. I'm talking as a fat person here.
Yeah, but we're
okay.
We're not
average size. What do we even? What's the word?
So okay. So, but I appreciate that it did not take the route of she just magically happened to lose weight, and coincidentally, now she's likable.
Right.
I did think there was a little bit of a makeover that happened, but they didn't dwell on it, because when she's in Porpoise Spit, she's got this super long hair that doesn't do anything with, and it looks like she doesn't have much makeup on except for the super garish lipstick.
Yeah.
And then you see her in Sydney, and she's cut her hair and it's styled, not like over styled, but just got a lot off,
and she's wearing trendier clothes. I think this is supposed to be the Rhonda influence.
Yeah. So
on her,
but it's not like it wasn't drastic.
No, but it was enough to, put her over the edge or whatever.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, I don't know, in Clueless type makeover. Right. It wasn't like that. So
it was enough to make the doofy guy ask her out at the video store.
He was so adorable.
I did like seeing that she worked in the video store though, because that brings back a lot of memories. Yeah. Although I worked in a video store for many years, through like my college age, and it wasn't that kind of a video store where someone brought up the case and then brought up the box, and then you had the cases. Although that one of the video stores that I went to as a kid, we got a VCR in like 1985 or something.
You were on top of the tech.
Right, I know. Yeah, no. My mom's second husband, who was also a drug dealer, bought us a really sweet VCR with his drug dealer money.
Oh my gosh!
Drug dealer is probably an overstatement.
We've passed the statute of limitations on
he
this,
definitely went to Florida a lot, so he was definitely transporting drugs back from probably Miami, whatever.
Interesting.
No, that's a whole thing.
That's we won't get into that.
So we had a few nice things. We had a VCR very early. We had a microwave in like 85, 86. I guess they got together in like 85, 86. I was 5. Yeah, so 85, 86. Okay. We had a very early wood grain microwave, and we had the VCR was also wood grain. It was a top loader. It was wood grain.
Oh yeah. So
my childhood video store was one of those where all of the video cassettes are behind the counter, and you bring up the box.
Yeah.
So that was a nice trip down memory lane.
Nice callback.
That was my favorite part of the movie. I'm kidding. All right. Is there anything else to say about this? It was way too much.
It's a lot of plot. So should anybody else watch this movie?
Sure. Yeah, I mean if you know what it is going in, which I did not, then it is over the top horrible people being horrible people
So does the character of Muriel resonate with you at all? Like I said, to me, ugly duckling, growing out of a stifling hometown environment, is any of that?
For me, not
No?
really.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I can 100% see how she would make, she would be her journey is a commentary on marriage, I suppose.
Yes.
And and the whole loving yourself thing. But yeah, no question. The theme of this movie is marriage won't fix you. Getting married is not going to fix you, and you gotta love yourself first and all that.
Which, to be honest, I could have done without some of all the backstory and pushed that message a little bit, because
yes. Like I mean, I don't know what I would cut out exactly to streamline the movie, and that's probably how they ended up with the movie the way it is. I bet they cut 40 minutes off this movie to get it down as close as they could to a 90-minute
hijinks with each of the siblings.
There's probably a lot more siblings. There was probably more with the friends. I bet the trip to whatever island went a lot more. There was a lot more going on there, because they do sort of just become best friends, Rhonda and Muriel, after basically like singing an ABBA song and then getting drunk. And then they're like lifelong best friends.
Well, and then when she's back at the apartment with shy, dorky guy, they turn on the news and there's something about, a disaster on Hibiscus Island, which is where they went on the vacation. And so I was like, there's something else, some other thread that was meant to be picked up there, and they dropped it. But
I don't know how I would quote fix this movie. Like if I wanted to shave like 15 to 20 minutes off of it, I don't know what I would cut. But yeah, it's sure, watch it. It's not bad, like I said.
If you like ABBA, you should definitely watch it.
It is a very 90s Australian movie. Like there's no better description for this movie than that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it is. It's so that, like, it is. It just is. Like, isn't Strictly Ballroom Australian too?
Yes, and came out about the same time, and we will be talking about that at some point too.
Yeah, even though I've seen that, that's not.
I've seen it.
I would
twice as many times as you.
Oh, sure,
easily.
Sure. So watch it. You won't regret it. I mean, you might regret it while you're watching it.
Can I just, when you watch it, strive to be better parents than any of the parents?
Yes.
And don't let marriage be your ultimate goal, such that you ignore everything else.
Yes. You say as you say that, I remember that even Rhonda's mom is a bad person, because at some point when they go sit at the wedding out of the way, her mom literally says, "At least this way you won't be in anyone's way." Yeah.
And then plops Rhonda there and goes off and sits somewhere else.
Sit somewhere else.
Yeah,
in her wheelchair. Remember, you got to use your deep knowledge now of this movie that we've given you. At this point, Rhonda is permanently paralyzed from the waist down because of her reoccurrence of cancer in this comedy movie.
Yeah, is that a thing? Does that really happen? I don't know. I think I want to know.
I don't know. It said she had a tumor on her spine. And they got it, and it came back. I don't know. I would, just like the doctor said, I don't know what causes cancer.
Not sex, though.
Not
go off and have threesomes with American military personnel as much as you want to. That won't give you cancer. Not that kind of cancer, anyway.
Right.
HPV, we don't know. So.
All right.
On that note, thanks for listening, folks. That was Muriel's Wedding.
Yes, it was.
Sometimes your childhood favorites don't stack up.
That's going to be a theme, I think.
Yes. So, all right. Well, thanks. Tune in next time and see what else we're talking about from before the first date.
The You Show Me Yours theme song is Uplifting Electronic Indie by Winnie the Moog from filmmusic.io.